Hello everyone, welcome to the Financial Information channel. In this video I'm going to give you some news that happened this week. In addition, I'm going to cover some of the earnings that happened during this week, and I'm going to mention some of the companies that are going to report next week. Now let's begin with the video. And the first news is that the economy added 209,000 new jobs during July, and the economy was predicted only to have 175,000, so you actually easily surpass that number. But the most important thing is that the unemployment rate is around 4.3%. That is the lowest that it has been in the last 16 years. And another thing is that Basin didn't report on August 2nd. I read on a website that it was going to report on that day, and now I'm checking on the website to see when is the official date, and it doesn't show up in the website. On the Robinhood app, it says that it's going to report on August 10. However, I will wait and hear from the company so we can get an official announcement. Now I'm going to cover the earnings really quick. Now the first company that I mentioned yesterday was Yelp. Yelp beat the EPS by 28 cents and the revenue by 3.93 millions, and the revenue year-to-year growth is 20.4%. Also, Yelp sold some part to GrabHub. They sold the E24 section, and the E24 is part of Yelp where you can actually order food from some of the restaurants. And I think that GrabHub actually overpaid over that section. And in addition, anytime that GrabHub uses Yelp in some type of orders, Yelp is gonna receive a transaction fee. And the last time that I checked the stock was up around 20%. And the next company is gonna be Weight Watchers. Now Weight Watchers beat the EPS. Weight Watchers beat the EPS by 16 cents and the revenue by 12.15%, and the year-to-year growth is 10.3%. And I was reading some of the news about this company. Oprah actually bought 10% of the company's stake back in 2015. Now I understand why she has been promoting Weight Watchers. And in addition, as you see on the screen, the short ratio has been decreasing over the last year. It was around 16% a year ago. Nowadays, it's only around 8%. So the company actually reported good subscription growth, and that made the stock jump a lot. Now I'm gonna go some of the companies really quick. And the first one is Microchip Technologies. Microchip beat the EPS by 8 cents and the revenue by 24.66 millions. The revenue year-to-year growth is 15.2%, and the stock was moving up the last time that I checked the price. Now let's go to the next company, which is Mercado Libre. Now Mercado Libre missed the EPS by 42 cents and it beat the revenue by 5.39 millions, and the revenue year-to-year growth is 59.6%. And the problem with this company is that the net income was low. However, the revenue is still high at this moment. Now let's go to the next company that reported earnings, and that's Clorox. Now Clorox beat the EPS by 4 cents and the revenue were in line. The revenue year-to-year growth is 3.9%. So the company actually posted good numbers. Now let's go to the next company, which is Applied Optoelectronics. The company beat the EPS by 22 cents and the revenue by 1.1 millions. And the revenue year-to-year growth is 112.5%. And the problem with this company, even though it beat the revenue, it wasn't as high. In addition, the company has gone up so much, it has gone up over 300%. So it was time for some investors to take some profits. And with the way that the market was going, I think even if they had posted amazing numbers, it would still drop. And the next company is Sina. Now Sina missed the EPS by 1 cent and it beat the revenue by 2.39 millions, and the revenue year-to-year is 15.1%. And it is a gaming company, but the next gaming company actually reported good numbers, and that is Take-Two Interactions. Take-Two Interactive Software reported an EPS of 56 cents, and the revenue year-to-year growth is 67.47 millions, and the revenue year-to-year is 27.8. And the company shares were up 10%, and one of the main drivers for the revenue was Grand Theft Auto. That game came out around 4 years ago. The next company is Supernus Pharmaceutical. They beat the EPS by 8 cents and the revenue by 8.06 millions, and the revenue year-to-year growth is 46.9%. So this company was moving sideways after the earnings, and it barely moved during the week. Now the next company is NXPI, and NXPI reported an EPS of 14 cents, and it beat the revenue by 10 millions, and the revenue year-to-year growth is negative 6.8%. And I think this company was moving down after the earnings. Now let's go to the next company, which is Groupon, and it missed the revenue by 6.88 millions. The revenue year-to-year growth is negative 8.5%. And I think this company was moving down after the earnings as well. Now the next company is Fitbit, and it beat the revenue by 11.43 millions. The revenue year-to-year growth is negative 39.8%. And the shares were moving up after the earnings. However, the year-to-year growth is really bad. And the next company is Cirrus Logic. Now Cirrus Logic beat the EPS by 15 cents, and it beat the revenue by 0.59 millions. The revenue year-to-year growth is 23.6%. The funny thing is that this company was moving up after Apple reported earnings. However, it gave everything back the next day. Now, the next company is CIX, and CIX reported an inline in EPS, and it beat the revenue by 0.04 millions, and the revenue year-to-year growth is 9.7%. Not a bad number for a stock that I mentioned in the top 5. Stocks under $10. Now the next company is Under Armour, beat the EPS by 0.03 cents, and the revenue were in line, and the revenue year-to-year growth is 8%. And the share for Under Armour were going down. The company had weak guidance. Now let's go to the next company, which is Pandora. It beat the EPS by 3 cents, and the revenue by 7.93 millions, and the revenue year-to-year growth is 9.8%. And the company posted good numbers. However, it said that it was losing around 2% of the customers. And the next company is Emerson Electrics. It missed the EPS by 1 cent. It beat the revenue by 10 millions, and the revenue year-to-year growth is 10.1%. And the company was going up after the earnings. Now let's go to the next company, which is Paycom. Paycom beat the EPS by 6 cents, and the revenue by 2.47 millions. The revenue year-to-year growth is 32.9%. And this company was moving up after the earnings. However, it reversed and it was going down in the next few hours. And the company lost around 3%, I believe, after earnings. However, at this moment, it's almost back to the regular price before earnings. And the last two companies, first is Pfizer. It beat the EPS by 1 cent. It missed the revenue by 180 millions. And the revenue year-to-year growth is negative 1.9%. And Pfizer, like I mentioned before, it doesn't grow anymore. Now let's go to the last company, which is Sprint. Sprint beat the EPS by 10 cents, and the revenue by 20 millions, and the revenue year-to-year growth is 1.9%. And Sprint was the last telecommunication companies to report in the United States, and that made it 4 out of the 4 companies from the telecommunication that posted positive earnings. And now I'm going to mention the companies that are going to report next week. And the first one is Twilio. Twilio is a cloud communication platform, and this company hasn't gone up as much, and it is a technology company. The company has barely gone up 1.25%. However, it has not missed the EPS and revenue during the last 3 quarters, and I think this company is gonna beat the EPS and the revenue. However, what is most important is the guidance. They need to have a good guidance for the company to move up. Now the next company is gonna be Walt Disney. They have beaten the EPS 3 out of the last 4 times, and the revenue only 1 time out of the last 4 times. And the problem with Disney is ESPN. ESPN continues to lose customers every year, and that is a huge problem. ESPN was one of the reasons why this company generated so much revenue in the last few years, and now it is the opposite. Now I'm gonna put on the screen how millennials have changed some of the traditional TV in the last few years. This chart is since 2010, and as you can see in the chart, they have lost almost a third between the ages of 18 to 24, and almost a quarter between the ages of 25 years old to 34 years old. And I think Disney need to come up with a better solution, because I don't see people watching a complete game in their mobile device. And the company that I mentioned in the 5 stocks under 10 is Hudson Technologies. Now this company has dropped a huge amount. However, it has beat the EPS 4 out of the last 4 and the revenue 3 out of the last 4. So the company needs to put really strong numbers so it can start going up. And the next company is NetEase. This is a Chinese company. This is mostly into gaming in China. The company has beat the EPS 4 out of the last 4 and the revenue 3 out of the last 4. The company has gone up around 41%, and I think it's gonna beat the EPS and the revenue. The next company is a Chinese company, the Sina Corporation, and this is kind of like Twitter, and it has gone up around 71%. It has beaten the EPS 4 out of the last 4 and the revenue 4 out of the last 4 times. And I think this company is gonna post strong numbers. It's gonna beat the EPS and revenue. And the next company is Weibo. This company is a micro blogging company. It has beaten the EPS 4 out of the last 4 and the revenue 4 out of the last 4 times. And I think it's gonna do the same. It's gonna beat the EPS and the revenue. And the company has gone up around 94%. And I think it has a good chance of going over 100% if they post a strong guidance. And the next company is gonna be Blue Apron. Now I don't have any thoughts on this company since this is the first time they're gonna report earnings. However, the company has gone down around 43%. And the next company is Kohls. It has beaten the EPS 4 out of the last 4 and the revenue 1 out of the last 4 times with one inline number. And I think it's gonna probably continue beating the EPS since they have a good management system. However, it's gonna go down in revenue. And the next one is Macys. Now Macys has beaten the EPS 3 out of the last 4 times and the revenue 1 out of the last 4 times. And I think it's gonna probably happen the same. It's gonna beat the EPS and miss on the revenue. But the most important thing is the guidance. We will see if they're gonna continue closing more stores. And the next company is another retailer, that's Nordstrom. And Nordstrom has beaten the EPS 4 out of the last 4 times and the revenue 1 out of the last 4 times. And again, this is the same story. It's gonna beat the EPS and miss on the revenue. And it is going to be a bad day for the retailers if they continue posting bad numbers. And the next company is gonna be a company that I had under my account in 2016. However, I didn't think because I sold all my shares. And that's gonna be Nvidia. Nvidia has beaten the EPS 4 out of the last 4 times and revenue 4 out of the last 4 times. And the company, the last time that it reported earnings, the company went up around 45% during that month. It crushed the numbers. So I think this company is probably gonna do the same. It's gonna beat the EPS and revenue. Now it is going to be interesting to see if this company goes up as much because the technology sector is not well liked at this moment. And the next company is gonna be a Snap. It meets the EPS and revenue. And I think it's gonna meet the EPS again. However, it's gonna beat the revenue. And this company, what it needs to post a strong guidance so the shares can stop going down. I'm talking about a Snapchat. There's another company in China which is Weibo. This is like a Snapchat in China, and the company has gone up around 86% in 2017, and it has a good track record of beating the EPS and revenue. It has beaten the EPS 4 out of the last 4 times and the revenue 4 out of the last 4 times, and I think it's gonna continue doing the same, beat the EPS and revenue. And the last company is gonna be another retailer, which is JCPenney. Now JCPenney has beaten the EPS 3 out of the last 4 times with one inline, and it has not beaten the revenue in the last 4 quarters. However, it has one inline, and this company is gonna beat the EPS and miss on the revenue. And JCPenney has been awful. It has dropped around 34% this year, and I think it's gonna continue going down. And well, that is gonna be everything for the video. Please leave in the comment section below which of the company earnings are you excited to hear the numbers. And the company for me is gonna be a Snapchat. This is gonna be the first quarter where we can get an idea what is the value of the company. And you can subscribe to the financial information channel. I'm gonna continue bringing videos about the stock market, personal finance, and how to make money online. I wanna thank you once again for watching the video. Have an excellent day and take care, my friends.